Now in this video, a continuation of the same thing. We were talking about the victim mentality. Could be any mentality that someone tends to be connected with, but the victim mentality is one most people recognize. These people can find a way to be a victim from anything. And there are certain energies that come into our physical being and cross through us that are victim mentality based. Because once we have most of our cells open to receiving proteins or polypeptides associated with the feeling that comes with being a victim, the more likely that energy is going to look around us and find places to be victimized. So if you have to wait too long in a line, if your soda is not filled all the way up, if somebody sits next to you when there's another chair and you didn't really want that person to sit next to you in a waiting room, if somebody asked you to do something you didn't particularly want to do, but you did it anyway, which is silly because you have authority over that, then you can create victimology number two. Everybody uses me. Well, if you don't want to be a rug, my suggestion, don't lie on the floor near a door. People are going to be a lot less likely to come in and clear their feet on you. But if you're going to lie at a doorway, people are probably going to wipe their feet on you. They're going to see you as a rug. So when energy comes in and we're used to vibrating it and we're very open to stringing it through our system, that energy or energies like that are going to find ways to come into us. Energies are everywhere. People want to have a great fear of low energy, demonic energy, satanic energy. Movies like The Exorcist show us what our own fears can do when an energy takes hold and vibrates and uses not only religious conscription, but fear of hell, of all time suffering for eternity, a child, possession, all of those things, kind of ties them all together. The truth is, those kind of energies that could exhibit in that way are constantly abounding around us. But when you don't hold that chord in your system, if you don't vibrate in that way or think like that, those energies just pass through you. Simply the same as you passing through an open door and not seeing a door. Whereas if you're not, inclined to see it as a doorway, you might see it as a closed door and then not be able to move, past that space because you see a door there. These energies are the same. If they come in and find a vibration they can tie into, they're going to want to stay within your system and create more and more of a resonance or vibration in that pattern. Whereas if you're not really inclined to open to that energy, they're just going to pass through, cross on over, and boom, they're done. They're done interacting because they don't really even become fully aware of you and your being. If you're vibrating in a high and positive way, there are a lot of energies that never feel welcome to come in. So, what you want to do is begin to create an understanding of your own physiological self, your emotional self, and your spiritual self so that you can clear out energies that have become lodged within you and go forward. Now, I used to participate in a team that did healing, and people would come, we would put them on a table, we'd gather 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 people, and we would just put our energy into this person with the intent of shoving low energy out of them. Is it something that can be done? Yes, it can be. We do it all the time without even being aware of it. But what I began to realize and what I was shown is that we can do it, but if the person doesn't truly understand the physiological process of energy, how it gets invited in, and how it gets exercised or pushed out, their cellular structure and metabolism is still geared to accepting energy of that type because they haven't had a complete swap over of their cellular structure. one evening with high energy input doesn't regenerate every cell in their body. So the cellular structure of their body is still holding on to the vibrational pattern of low energy. So they left the healing feeling fat and sassy and snappy, but they go out into the world, and before long, that energy gets reintroduced or vibrated back in. They pick it up and start to vibrate it, and any positive change that they saw can be reversed. Some people just need one chance to get energy out, to regain a sense of themselves. And even though they may not have a knowledge or an understanding on a high level, they are able to begin to alter the way they receive energy, and they have a longer lasting or more permanent response. But I decided if I was going to put that much energy into people, and excuse me, because I was told that it is my job to assist people in this manner, that I probably needed to find a way to get to people to help them make these changes on a personal level, to really vibrate them up so that the healing, as if you want to call it that, becomes more long lasting. Because the truth of the matter is, when you have a lot of lower energy in your body, vibrating lower emotions, one of the things that occurs is a drop in your physical health. You actually have diminished health because health is connected to how easily energy of the right type vibrates through your system. But if you have a lot of energy stuck within you that vibrate to lower tunes and they're constantly taking your proteins and energy to make these emotions that don't really serve a higher purpose for you, then that energy can't be used for your health. It can't be used for your vitality. And it's blocking the energy that is trying to be used from that from circulating through your system. So it's going to manifest in different ways as stomach disorder, digestive problems, headaches, migraines, muscle pain, weakness, fatigue, diabetes, cancer, whatever it is. And because a lot of times when we have low energy in us, it changes our attraction to certain foods because it's changing our behavior. We don't eat as well. We don't take into our bodies the same level of proteins. And when we do, our body can't use them correctly because we're busy taking chunks of it and smacking off pieces and sending it out so we can be angry at someone or be mad about something or hold on to a pain or a hurt or a thought that doesn't serve our higher purpose. So we really do have to become governors of the energy because in the long-term effect, it takes us down a ton. Now, there are those that believe that we're here to serve a purpose, and I think there's some truth to that. And that but they believe that if we don't serve that purpose, and we don't do exactly as we're instructed, that the divine energy that created all things is going to bring suffering on us till we start to walk our true path. I used to work within that belief structure. I no longer believe that, partly because I think I have a much higher understanding. I could be in fault, but I believe that I do. Now, I believe if we don't do the path that we think we were driven to do, that we can have suffering, but it's not divinely created. It's our own suffering we put on ourselves that we try to use to force ourselves to do what we think we're supposed to do. But it's not coming from a divine source. It's coming from the sonship or our belief. And because we're all one and we're tied into an endless universal tapestry, we're able to drag that vibration from any other beings in the tapestry that share it, thereby intensifying that vibration and intensifying the result in our physical body. So if we think it's wrong to do X, Y, Z, and we believe it, and we're judging someone else for it, and we're then doing something in our own life that could be akin to that, even though maybe not the same behavior, but draws on the same belief, then we're going to begin to pull into us the judgment, pain, and suffering that we believe that other person should have for their behavior. Kind of a transference. What you believe for one works for you too, correct? So you can see how important it is to open your mind and change your belief concept, or you're going to be suffering the judgments that you're placing out for others. Because if you're making a judgment, it's because you truly believe there's a right, wrong and a right, and a place and a non-place for certain behavior, and you're making a judgment. Well, you can't hold a judgment to another without that coming back to you. It's the same as holding a match under someone's foot to burn their foot for something they've done. Well, that match is burning down. At some point, it's going to burn your own fingers unless you release it. It's the only way it can work. So, yes, you can suffer for not doing the things that you think you should be doing, but the suffering is self imposed and strengthened by all the others that hold the same belief. So, as we get into the next section of this class, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to release those energies and how they're tied into the ego, because that's kind of important. I can tell you to release them, but if you don't know what that means, what that looks like or feels like, it becomes pretty difficult to release them. Just having an understanding of a process isn't the same as having the steps to work through the process. Some of us are very keen on figuring things out for ourselves, or at least we believe we are. Usually there's some kind of download from our higher self, and we believe we just figured it out because we're so doggone smart, but we are just more open to the vibration coming in. Some people are more set up in their vibration to need it to be written out or spelled out or given to them in a way auditorily or visually that they can walk into it. So I understand all of it because I do a combination of all of those things. I need to kind of have an understanding and then see an example and then kind of walk in it and test it. So for me, that's kind of how it is for me to learn concepts. So in the next section of this video, as we're quickly approaching the 30-minute mark, I want to talk about energy and how we begin to figure out what's truly ours and what isn't, so we can begin to unwind that vibration from our own vibration, so that as we grow in our understanding of releasing it, we can release it fully. There is a difference between ignoring energy and releasing it. Most of us learn to ignore it. Not all that handy, because anytime we walk into a situation that could vibrate it, it comes back up. So just ignoring it is really storing it. And storing it is just waiting for a better time to exhibit it. It's really not a great time to exhibit it if it's not working in our best interest. So I think it's better if we could just sort of dissolve it and send it out. And if we learn to do that for ourselves and we learn how to control it, then other people can never come in and hit the notes on our piano and create a, disharmony or a melody we don't want to hear. So as I pause now for this next break and come back, I'm going to come back and talk a little bit about being a governor of our own energy and owning it completely and totally.